The X coordinates and Y coordinates are the private data members, and radius is a protected data member of the class circle, and all the member functions are public. So we can see all the member functions or operations are basically public data members of this class. A public data member can be used to access from anywhere in the system. So basically they are publicly accessible from anywhere in the system. So we can describe the visibility types of set of attributes and set of operations in order to limit the accessibility of these attributes and set of operations. So here we will have another example of animal class with the attributes name, ID, and age. Another important point which should be mentioned is basically the data type of the particular attribute, which we will mention should be again presented in the particular class. So in order to write the name of the class, the data type that we will use will be the string. And in order to define the identification of the different instances of the animal class will be declared using the data type integer. So another attribute, which is called the age attribute, is declared using the integer data type. So we learn that with the proper attribute there is a need to describe the data type of the particular attribute in front of this particular data type, as well as we will describe the access types or the visibility types of these particular attributes. So as you all can see in the given diagram, name, ID, and age are private data members of this particular class, which is called the animal class. A private data member can be used only within the class in which it will be described. We cannot access such attributes from anywhere outside from this particular class. So again we will have the two operations of the particular class, which is called the animal. The first one is the set name operation and the second one is the eat operation. Both are again the private data members or functions or operations of the particular class, which is called the animal class. So now we will see the attributes characteristics. The attribute characteristics are basically the visibility factors which we will associate with each attribute defined in the second compartment of the class. The visibility factors can be the private, the public, the protected, and the package by using different notations or symbols respectively. The visibility describes the accessibility of an attribute of a class. The attribute must have a meaningful name that describes the use of it in a class. An attribute should be named in a way that it represents the logic, the meaning, the quality of that particular class in which they are described. So now we will focus on different types of relationships in a class diagram. So there are mainly three kinds of relationships in a UML class diagram. The first one is the dependency relationship. The second one is the generalization relationship. And the third one is the association relationship. So in order to model the relationship using a class diagram, we can use three different kinds of relationships: the dependency relationship, the generalization relationship, and finally the association relationship. So first we will see that is what is the dependency relationship. A dependency means the relation between two or more classes in which a change in one may force changes in the other. However, it will always create a weaker relationship. Dependency indicates that one class depends on another class. In order to define or describe or to perform some kind of relationship or task, if the relationship exists between the two components is the dependency relationship, it indicates that one class cannot perform any function or task without the help of another class. So the type of relation between the two classes will be the dependency relationships. So if there will be a change in one class, will always affect or force the same changes in the other class. So dependency is always used to create the weaker relationships. In the following example, student has a dependency on the college. We have the two classes, the student and the college class. And the relationship between these two classes is the dependency relationship. So, in order to model the dependency relationship, we will use this particular dependency symbol. It means the class student is highly dependent on the class college. A student will not be a student without the enrollment in a college. A student is logically dependent to the class which is called the college. So, in order to understand the different types of relationships, we need to consider the particular diagram. The first type of the relation, which is represented by the particular line, will be called an association relationship. The second, which we have learned recently, is called the dependency relationship and is represented by this dashed arrow symbol. The next relationship in a class is called the generalization relationship that can be used or modeled using this particular symbol. And finally, we have the realization relationship, which is used to model using the particular symbol. If a class is dependent on another class It means in order to make changes in the student class will always affect the related dependent class, which is called the college class.